What if? Yeah, we're gonna talk about what if next week. Little teaser for next week. We are outside of the Discord, so we would like to try to get the Discord set up for everyone. However, we are going to do a actors we want to see in Marvel, and we're gonna give them our own fan casting as well. So be on the lookout for that. Very fun. I already have a list of at least 10. That's probably going to get longer. I am a pretty big movie buff. I like a lot of actors.
I had like 5 actors I had to look up because recognized a couple, didn't recognize a couple, but some you had on there.
Yeah, there's a few from like shows that I like, and I didn't want to like take too many from specific shows, but we can get into that next time.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about What If. What If is on one of the most anticipated episodes of the series because it was such a popular comic book series. It was really supposed to resemble what If was about. So it was supposed to be like a completely different take on just like an original storyline. And this episode was supposed to be Party Thor, unless the leaks were wrong, which is totally possible.
Well, obviously wasn't Party Thor.
Because the Avengers episode where everybody died was also supposed to be called Loki and something. Like it was supposed to be focused on Loki.
And I know Loki one, they took a Loki one out because they didn't want to.
They weren't supposed to.
They didn't want to go from Loki into Loki again.
Right. So it was What If Zombies.
What if walkers?
We'll open up with the fan reaction and some critic reaction. It's so far one of the most loved. We've mentioned him before. Brandon Davis, he's like one of the big Marvel guys, says it's his favorite episode yet. There's a few guys I watch on YouTube. Shout out Heavy Spoilers. The guy on there said he really liked the episode a lot, and that he believes that it's the episode that if you were to tell people what if is and they'd never seen it, this is the episode he'd send them to. So a lot of people loved it. Said it's their best episode yet. Thought it was amazing. I didn't. I put it right in the middle. I think episodes 2 and 4 were.
You made a tier list. We love tier lists here.
Yeah, I've ranked the episodes as each one has happened. Right after the second episode, I said, "What did I like better, 2 or 1?" 2. So mine go 4, 2, 5, 3, 1.
No, 1, 3.
1, 3. Sorry, 1, 3.
Yeah, and I would just flip flop. I would flip flop 1 and 5. I'd put Captain Carter above Zombies, I think.
Yeah, and I honestly, Zombies was so disappointing for me that I would be totally fine putting Carter. My personal ranking, I think. So maybe I'm letting other people get to me for my personal, like, just I'm listening to other people and saying maybe I'm being too harsh. Because I agree, I rated it super low, and then after listening to other people, I'm trying to come around on it.
Right.
But honestly, if you said Agent Carter was or Captain Carter was better than it, I wouldn't fight you on it. Let's just say that. If you try to tell me, similar to other people saying that it's better than the T'Challa or Doctor Strange episodes, I might fight you on that.
Sure.
Because the T'Challa episode to me completely represents What If, and Doctor Strange was like a cinematic art piece that I fell in love with that episode.
Right. So I think the nostalgia of it being a first episode, or even with the WandaVision and Loki, I said that WandaVision and Loki are 1A and 1B, or 2A and 2B.
Right.
Because WandaVision came out first, and it was like that's like a chunk of content we didn't have and we're getting all of a sudden. So that's the same thing with the What If. It's like we don't know what to expect, just like WandaVision, and then we're getting that. And so it's like you appreciate all the little things, and you appreciate the episode as like this is what they're trying to do. That's why I think Captain Carter kind of stood out to me, because there was enough little differences. And then
and me personally, I rate Zombies slightly higher than Captain Carter, because Captain Carter to me felt like a kind of a reshoot of the first Captain America movie, right, as opposed to Zombies telling what felt to me more like an original story. But my issues that I had with the Zombies movie is why I think it's arguable that the Captain one is better.
The zombie logic makes no sense, and I've watched every episode of The Walking Dead. I've seen
right. You're a huge Walking Dead fan. I watched up until Negan showed up.
Yeah,
and I didn't even watch that whole season until he showed up. I watched the mid-season finale of that season, and then I watched the finale where Negan showed up. And then they killed Glenn, and I stopped watching the show.
Yeah.
Because Steven Yeun, which I have not added him to our list, he will be added to that list.
That's a good casting. We have a couple Walking Dead people on that list already. So Andrew Lincoln, shit.
There's another one. See, and that's the thing is I don't want to add too many from the same show because there's like a lot of people from there's specific shows that are stacked, and I just want to take them all, but you don't want to.
Right.
I don't
know.
Yeah. Let's just do a quick I'm gonna run through the episode, what happened, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
So just a quick breakdown. It's not gonna be very long, because
you've said that exact thing before, like to give people a recap of something, like just letting you know, it's not very long.
I've said that too many times in my life. So it opens with Hulk coming from the Bifrost to warn the world about Thanos, and it shows that he's at Doctor Strange's office building,
Sanctum Sanctorum.
The Sanctum Sanctorum. When he goes out into the street, Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian show up through a portal, and they are fought and killed by Iron Man, Wong, Doctor Strange. However, then it is revealed that they are zombie versions of themselves, who all of their powers and still work, and all of their brain function is still there, and they know how to use all of their abilities in Iron Man's suit, similar, which is exactly how it worked in the comics as well. Little thing about the comics is they realized in the comics that if they didn't give in to their hunger, that sensation of need for hunger actually went away. That is not the case in this one, or at least that we know of. Ebony Maw, after turning into a zombie, his powers still work, which in my opinion could have ended the episode because he could have just finished it right there because he's very powerful.
He's just probably the strongest of the Black Order.
Yeah, exactly. I would say so. Strange's cape tries to help them. Doctor Strange's cape tries to help them. And he does. And then Spider-Man and Wasp show up and save Hulk because Hulk refuses to show up. So it's just Bruce Banner. He won't turn. So this is the point where Hulk is refusing to be turned into himself because he's has internal quarrels. He only protects Bruce. He doesn't become whatever. Then we find out
he just got his ass kicked by Thanos too.
Exactly. Yep. To which we find out where the zombies came from. They were in this version, just like in the comics, they came from a different realm. However, in our version, in this What If version, it's from the quantum realm. When Hank Pym's wife,
Janet Van Dyne
spends too much time in the quantum realm, she ends up becoming a zombie.
Quantum virus.
It's a quantum virus that turns her into this zombie type thing and turns Hank into one. When they come back out,
and then they
Ant-Man
can drive
and Wasp
motor
are sitting
vehicles. Yep, they can drive motor vehicles.
They can handle their Ant-Man suit. Wasp and Ant-Man are sitting there. Wasp and Scott Lang are sitting there and waiting to see what happens. And all of a sudden, they're attacked by zombie Hank Pym and zombie Janet, and Wasp bolts, leaving Scott behind. Just ditches him. And the last thing we see is the cliche hand on the foggy window from Scott. And then that's where we find out, like, they're telling this to Hulk. After the Avengers are all turned, that's when the world was doomed because the world couldn't handle zombie Avengers. They were too powerful because they all still have their powers and functionality.
They know exactly how to do the exact same things that the previous
and in terms of pace of spread of the virus, they say the entire eastern seaboard was taken in less than 24 hours. Then they get together. We see a small team of people. They're slowly revealing who is still alive and not a zombie. They show Happy is one of those people, which is Jon Favreau's character. I'm not sure if he voiced him though. They show Happy interested in boxing. He does a little boxing thing. I'm not sure if that was a recollection. So does Happy box in the book or in the previous movies? Because his character,
his father, I want to say his father did.
When Jon Favreau was on Friends, his character ended being a UFC fighter. So I wasn't sure if they were doing a deep cut Jon Favreau Easter egg or not.
All right. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I want to say that there was Yeah, I'm wasting too much time. But I
If
want to
there
say
wasn't,
that there.
I
wanna
would prefer it be a Jon Favreau deep cut. Like if you were a
Sure.
fan of him on Friends, that's what I prefer. But
Okay.
I'm sure that he has a boxing background. And then we see that Happy has Tony's Iron Man hand.
Blam.
Yeah. Blam, 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 blam. When they're trying to find a way to Camp Lehigh, we see that Winter Soldier, Okoye, I wrote down Winter Soldier twice, Sharon Carter, Spider-Man, Wasp, Happy, a guy named Kurt, which I'm not sure where
Kurt is the guy from Ant-Man.
Okay.
He's Polka Dot Man in James Gunn's whatever, that guy.
Okay.
There's T.I., there's Luis, and there's Kurt.
Okay. Well, Kurt is one of the people. Those are all people that are not infected yet. And then as they're trying to like get the train going, Hawkeye and Falcon show up. And this was my favorite part of the episode. Falcon, this version of Falcon can control birds, just like in the comics. So he actually has a superpower as opposed to our Captain Falcon, who just has his suit and vibranium now from Wakanda. And then I saw somebody made a joke about he must be controlling Hawkeye because he's a hawk.
Boo.
But yeah. So Hawkeye shows up. I don't think they kill anybody. I don't think they're able to get
Falcon
anyone.
dies. Falcon's about to kill Bucky and Okoye.
Well, Falcon dies, but I don't think they were able to turn anybody else this time.
Nope.
Well, then they get on the train, and Doctor Strange's cape goes on top of Spider-Man. He asks if he can take off the cape, and Wasp says it looks like maybe it'll grow on you. Which Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange is in it. They're supposed to be very close. Benedict Cumberbatch in that same interview about the Black Widow mentioned that the characters get really close in the movie.
Yep, Spider-Man needs a mentor, I guess.
There's a future episode of What If where we're going to see Sorcerer Spider, most likely.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's an Easter egg for both of those. On the train, Captain America shows up. He fights Bucky, but he also kills
Sharon.
He converts Sharon. He turns Sharon.
Yep. Bucky does his like grab the shield thing.
Yep.
Because
Captain America really sick. It's like a good fight. That's like a good cinematic scene. But overall, the art in this episode, just like the whole show, beautiful.
Right.
The animation's awesome. But the fight
if you just want to say
Bucky,
Bucky's beautiful, you can say that.
The fight scene between Bucky and Captain, I think, showed that the best.
Yeah.
Bucky wins, takes the shield after killing Cap. Hope gets covered in Sharon because she went inside Sharon's
mouth and then
exploded her, but gets cut.
Back to the theory of why we took Yellow Jacket.
Ant-Man or Yellow Jacket could have flown up Thanos, blew him up. For those of you that missed it, go check it out. It was separate from the podcast. We did a Marvel theory of what if villains had to fight Thanos. We took Yellow Jacket for that exact reason. Go inside and blow him up. We just chose not the mouth. We chose the other end, the toe nip. That happened, but we found out after killing Sharon, she did get cut while fighting her, which means she's going to turn. Another like zombie cliche main character that's going to have to get turned, and they know it's happening, but it's going to happen slowly because it's just a small cut. Then they show up at Camp Lehigh, and all the walkers are sitting out, but not
the
going.
walkers.
Yeah,
the zombies.
The zombies are all sitting, but not going in. We don't know why, but they get into Camp Lehigh. Peter reveals Aunt May has been killed while they're on the train, by the way. He reveals that Uncle Ben.
Mom, Dad, Uncle Ben. Yeah.
So that's the first time they bring up Uncle Ben in the MCU, outside of his initials that were on Peter's briefcase.
Yep. Benjamin F. Parker, I think.
Yeah. And then he also mentions that Aunt May is killed. She was a walker. Hope blames herself while she's cut. She blames herself for bringing upon the apocalypse because she just had to go get her mom. Yep. When it's like, no, I mean, you didn't know.
If she could have stood her ground and killed the two of them right there.
Yep. As opposed to panicking and leaving Scott.
Scott would have turned eventually, but she could have
saved the world. Yeah. So but we get it. She didn't know the extent of what was about to happen.
Right.
Quantum realm, you never know. Like they had a lot of questions.
We still don't.
So she turns herself into Big Wasp so that they can get into Camp Lehigh, and then she distracts all the walkers. Obviously, my wife was watching this episode with me. It's the first one she's watched with me. She was like, so she's going to be just a big zombie now, right? And I was like, yep, we just don't know when. And later in the episode, she is a big zombie. After helping them, Kurt mentions Baba Yaga because the place seems cursed and it's the witch, the evil witch. And they're like, oh, that's a weird thing to bring up. And inside Camp Lehigh is Vision. and he's fine. And we see that he's been living in there, and he tells them that the time stones energy
Mind Stone.
or the mind stones energy and frequency that gives out keeps the walkers at bay. We're like, oh, okay. And it's just like an interesting conversation. We find out that that's why they're not attacking Camp Lehigh, because we find out that the zombie infection attacks their limbic system. So, brain, chemistry, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And then we see Futurama. Scott's they turn the chair around that is watching the cameras at Lehigh, and Scott Lang's head is in a jar, just his head. That's all that's alive.
Yep. He used the Mind Stone to make a cure for his head.
Mm-hmm. So we find out that the Mind Stone can cure the disease, and Scott's just alive, and this is where a lot of the humor comes in, and Scott proves that he's Paul Rudd. I don't know if it is Paul Rudd, but
I don't know. Tons of puns. It was
tons of
great.
puns. Yeah, it was a good part of the episode. It was, a little overdone, but still good. Perfect example. So yes, that seems like a ripoff of Futurama for those that have seen it, but it's a perfect example of what an animated show allows the MCU to do. Like, you can't really do that in live action very well.
be kind of
dumb,
gross.
But yeah, it's just this episode was a great example of what the animation allows them to get away with. I prefer animation over live action. I prefer animated movies. So I've been enjoying this, and I just think this proves like what they can do with it. However, as they're walking around Camp Lehigh, we find out that Vision has been keeping. So he has this like little dark interaction conversation that they have. We find out that he's been keeping Scarlet Witch alive as a zombie.
Yep, just the most powerful person in the MCU.
Just the most powerful person in the MCU.
Sitting in a cell.
Including feeding her T'Challa's leg, and then he was going to feed her piece by piece. So another thing that they ripped off from other.
Is it Camp Lehigh or is it Terminus?
Right. I thought the same thing. What was that character's name who got his leg eaten? Tainted meat.
Oh yeah, Bob. It was just Bob. Dale in the comics, but Bob in the live action.
But then we see that T'Challa's alive. It's just he's missing his right leg because it was fed to Scarlet Witch. Her powers were apparently too strong to resist his Mind Stone treatment because she's too powerful. She's more powerful than an Infinity Stone.
She's more powerful than 5 Infinity Stones.
Right. So he could cure everyone, but he can't cure her.
But he doesn't cure everyone.
Instead, he decides to just stay there taking care of zombie Wanda. Anyway, he says, you woke her up because they were making noise. We find out Okoye says Wakanda's the last safe place on Earth. Vision comes to the realization that what he's been doing with Wanda is wrong instantly and takes out the Mind Stone because he can't imagine leaving Wanda.
Yeah, Vision, someone in Age of Ultron was willing to, after just meeting humans and processing the information of humanity, is willing to sacrifice himself to save humanity.
But
in Ultron.
Not this Vision. Ultron. Not this version of Vision.
Nope. And then in Infinity War, he's willing to sacrifice himself so Wanda could destroy the last Infinity Stone so that he could save the entire planet. He's always put people first, but and
not this time.
Well,
after that, Hulk picks up the Mind Stone, which I think is interesting because without being Hulk himself, that wasn't able to happen in the live action movies, but Bruce Banner picks up the Mind Stone.
Yeah, it's like a little shard. He's holding a shard, but the Mind Stone's connected to it. It still should be like he's just Bruce Banner, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's not.
I thought that was weird. Scarlet Witch recognizes Vision's dead body and gets angry. So then Hulk turns green, gives them the Mind Stone. I'm not sure who takes it, but whoever's holding it can hold it. Hulk resists Scarlet's bite because he turns green, and then they fight. And then we basically know that Hulk, we're going to find out who would win, but we don't get to see the finish of that fight. So
I assume Wanda.
The long-awaited question of Wanda versus Hulk, because we've never seen them fight. However, we are both in the camp of Wanda versus the field. Wanda wins.
Yeah.
So Wanda's the most
only
powerful
person that is stronger that Thanos needed an Infinity Gem to beat was Captain Marvel. He had to use the Power Stone. So
he had to use the Power Stone to beat Captain Marvel, but 5 stones
Wanda held off
Scarlet.
Yeah.
And she was able to crush another one while doing so. So Wanda wins that fight. I'm sure Hulk gets killed there. And then my wife called it. The next bit as they're trying to fly away, which as they're flying away, Scott Lang is flying with the
the cape
from Doctor Strange, and now he's not on Spider-Man. It's attached to Scott for the rest of the episode. But my wife called it giant wasp grabs their ship as they're trying to fly away. Then they get away.
Yeah, so T'Challa, Peter Parker, and Scott Lang's head and the cape are the ones that are survivors.
At the end of the episode, since we saw it was Black Panther,
they're just flying to Wakanda now.
They're flying to Wakanda with Scott Lang, Spider-Man, and Black Panther. The episode ends with zombie Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet with 5 stones.
Yep. And they're bringing him the Mind Stone.
And they're bringing him the Mind Stone in Wakanda. So. And then it ends with him like this because he's a fully cognizant zombie.
Titan, a zombie titan.
Zombie titan. And
but not a deviant.
And that's how the episode ends, on that cliffhanger. It's probably either going to get a sequel this season or in season 2. Most of these episodes will probably get sequels in season 2 that end with cliffhangers, but Zombies potentially has one for this season that was rumored. Let's talk about overall zombie logic. Not like what, like there seems to be no zombie logic. Like zombies that can run are always scarier than zombies that can't. Right. In media, but these zombies, the ones that have abilities, maintain their abilities.
Yeah,
they all seem to be able to still use their machines, like Iron Man's suit and stuff.
Right, Hawkeye can fire precise arrows.
So why are the other human zombies not using weapons? First of all, like that was one of my first questions. Like, okay, these people all are still cognizant. Why aren't the zombies using guns? And
sure.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
Since the world should be functioning to fight off, to be trying to find any non-zombies.
Yeah. And
so like there should be military helicopters being flown around trying to find non-infected people. There should be it just.
Yeah. And it's like one of the first things they stated, the zombie logic of you have to go for the head. You don't see that at all. Okoye kills Falcon like that.
Like
but
cutting him in half.
Yeah. That's the only time you see that. Happen, so
there's the whole in the comic books, the big bad that they're able to turn is Galactus, by the way. Galactus becomes a zombie, and then the zombies win. And that's when they find out that it takes 5 years of not feeding, it basically cures itself, but they still are zombie-ish. But yeah, the zombie logic just didn't make sense. As we go through, first big issue I have is Vision. Like, so the episode up to the Vision point is like, this is okay. This seems like you're building a good story. I like that it came from the quantum realm because I want to hear more about the quantum realm.
Sure.
It's cool to see which people have been turned, which ones haven't. And then I was like, I don't like the fact that they still have their abilities and powers.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense either. Couldn't Vision just like Mind Stone laser them all?
All of them. You would think. Vision is like the biggest upsetting thing. Like, I get it's a different universe, so this Vision is going to be different than the one we know of. But Vision as a character really shouldn't have that much of a difference because of who he is. Like, he is the Mind Stone version of Vision that has Jarvis,
Ultron, Tony Stark.
Like, so all of that being like extremely logical, he should still want to care about humanity. Like,
right.
And he's just saying, screw you all. I'm feeding Scarlet Witch because my love for her is greater than all of the Infinity Stone based knowledge and everything I have in my head.
Right.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't. There's a lot of the what if things that, I mean, that's what it is. What if, you know, doesn't have to make sense, but
that doesn't makes the least amount of sense. And then he flips a 180. My wife was like, that was quick. It was literally like 2 minutes later in the episode. He's like, I'm doing something wrong. I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
I've been doing this for a year. I'm feeding my zombified girlfriend human flesh. And it's like, that's wrong. You're right. Let me do what's right.
Not only that, but I'm made out of material. The material I'm made out of comes from the place that I'm from. The guy, Black Panther comes from Wakanda, where vibranium comes from, which is what I'm made out of.
Yeah.
Like, oh, now that I'm talking to people, even though I've been able to talk to Scott this whole time.
T'Challa? Like, you bring T'Challa in? I don't know.
Now I feel bad about it all of a sudden. Even though he seemed so sinister initially, like he was
Yeah.
planning to feed them all to her,
Right.
but then all of a sudden just boom, I flip. Nope, I feel bad. Kills himself. And I was like I think that is a deep artistic take. Like Vision killing himself is a
Right.
very like whoa moment. But after doing what you just did, it wasn't a whoa moment. Like it was
Yeah.
like a
Womo.
whoa. Like it was just stupid. It was
Yeah.
Vision was the
I had a
worst
huge.
part.
He looked cool.
He looked cool. That was it. And because it was just like the storyline didn't make sense for the character. And then it flipped so fast that it just kind of like, again, maybe it would be better. I've mentioned it in previous episodes. Maybe it would be better if it was an hour episode and then we would have
Right.
been able to build on
There's
it.
a couple of those where
But
it could have
man,
been.
that was bad. I hated that. I hated it so much.
And Scarlet Witch, zombified Scarlet Witch, if she had all her powers, she'd be able to kill them all in a matter of
in
like
a second.
seconds.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was some predictability, like the Wasp thing, but the Vision thing and then the zombie logic. And overall, episode's overrated. The fact that people are saying it's the best episode yet, I think, are jumping on a bandwagon or are huge fans of the
That happens
comics
a
and have
lot.
been waiting for it.
Marvel takes a lot of the time someone will read something and they'll be like, that's my take now.
That's what I think now. And that happens in sports, that happens in Marvel, but
Yeah.
like Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi might not be as good as we're all saying, but we've all been deprived of Marvel movies for so long. And the big people loved it at first. They've been hyping it up. People like you and I loved it.
Yeah.
People hear it and they're like, yes, I agree. 98% score. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Like, it's probably not a 10 out of 10 movie in the general sense.
Yeah.
But when you've been deprived people so long and people jumping on bandwagons, it's a 10 out of 10 movie because of that. And like, I think that's what's happening with the zombie episode was people are jumping on bandwagons and saying, yep, it is the best episode yet. But like, if you want to take it from a critic standpoint, I think episode 4 is best with Doctor Strange. If you want to take it from a fan service episode, I think episode 2 with T'Challa is best. If you want to talk about the next best fan service and like overall like retelling of a story, episode 1 is best. Like every episode I feel except episode 3 has done something better than the zombie episode in every sense.
Yeah.
Even in like an art visual standpoint, Doctor Strange gets the advantage. So
I mean, anything Doctor Strange related is just cool to see in general.
And it involved the Watcher more, and like and they even mentioned that it's going to have the biggest effect on the MCU. So from like a potential future, what's going to happen aspect, different other episodes beat this one.
Right.
So the Thanos thing and the Falcon actually having powers, those were the two like coolest things from the episode. But even then, Thanos can use the Infinity Gauntlet and he's a zombie. Scarlet Witch and Thanos by now should be working together, right?
If they don't have cognizant thought, they do have thoughts. Like, what if Thanos got the last stone?
Is he gonna snap half of the zombies?
Snap?
Right, or is he gonna snap all the zombies so that he has food? Like what? And like if the zombies are all like they seem to be teaming up with each other, right? Like
that's zombie logic they got right is they hoard together.
So why are Thanos and Scarlet Witch not working together? Scarlet Witch clearly still loves Vision because she gets mad when Vision's dead. But if she still cares about the other zombies, like if she wants to be part of the horde, why isn't she working with Thanos to help take over the world and help the zombies rule all? Like the comics tried to, like in the comics, all the zombies ruled together to try to defeat Galactus, and they do. Overrated episode. I apologize to the people that loved it because I did not. It's right in the middle.
I had a moment today where I called you on my way home, and I was like, "All right, here's the things I liked about the episode," and then
there was a big pause.
And then I was like, all right, let me tell you the things I didn't like about the episode.
Because it was way easier to think of stuff that you don't like than there is the stuff you like about it. And like, we're maybe because we're just being contrarian this time around, like people aren't going to like it. But like, I did not jump on that bandwagon. I'm not trying to just be devil's advocate. I genuinely, as I filled it out, I have my live notes in front of me because I fill it out as I watch, I pause, do all that. I said overall wasn't a great episode. That was the first thing I wrote down when I was done. I just didn't like it. And if you did like it, that's great. But tier list, if we were to do a tier list, I would say episodes 2 and 4 are A tier. I would say this episode is C tier, and I would say episodes 1 and 3 are D tier, and I would even say D tier for 1, F tier for 3.
Sure.
Just so far 2
Gotta
and
be
4.
excited for number 6 then.
I'm
The humans have
always
been good.
excited. Yeah, every other episode has been so good. So episode 6, my expectations are way up there. If it ends up being the Party Thor one, great. Sorcerer Spider, great. All I know is the final episode of this season is the Watcher going to be getting all these people together to fight a big bad.
The Ultron with the
Ultron with all
yeah.
6 Infinity Stones, which I don't know how they would beat it anyway. Beat that, but
yeah,
we'll find out. Anyway, that's What If. Do you have anything else?
I do not.
All right. That's What If. Thank you for watching our What If segment. I'll probably split this up into its own video. So
Sure.
thanks for watching. We're going to move on.